The student looked like she took some, I don't know if it was a shove or a swing at the teacher or whatever, but basically as soon as that happened, Miss Langford once again, brown folks, losing control of your emotions, just went crazy, like a dog off a motherfucking chain, went crazy and went full-blown attack mode. In the video, I don't know if the substitute teacher, Miss Langford, I don't know if she had something in her hand that she was striking the student or not. It kind of looked like she had something in her hand, but there were multiple strikes to the head. Multiple strikes to the head by the teacher to the student. The student, who the whole time has been sitting down and is sitting down and at a desk chair. You know, the old school type where the actual desk that they put their textbook or notebook on top of is attached to the seat itself. Student is sitting down the whole time, getting bombed on. After striking the student in the head a couple times, the substitute teacher then grabs the hoodie of the student, pulls the student over in the chair, dragging her, basically her body then becomes free of the chair. And while the student is face down on the ground, Miss Langford stomps one time. I saw one stomp in the back of the student's head. You know, on this hard white school floor. We know those floors. One stomp on the back of the student's head. I didn't see the student move after that. Now, I don't know if that's just because the video stopped right there, or she knocked the girl out or whatever, but tomato, whoop-de-woo. Either way, it don't make a difference. Miss Langford was wrong. Okay? And in some of the reading that I'm doing, apparently, and this is being reported by this is reported by the channel KHOU, KHOU in Texas, a local news station down there in Houston, Texas, is basically saying that 2 months prior to this, back in September, this same teacher had an incident, this time with a 12-year-old. Nothing physical, thank God, happened, but apparently, this 12-year-old has been diagnosed with, attention deficit disorder. And, what does it say here? The student, who has a 504 education plan for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, became emotional and started crying. According to this complaint by the student's mother, the substitute teacher, Miss Langford, after the kid started crying, started calling the kid a crybaby. Call the kid a crybaby in the class in front of in front of the other class members. So Miss Langford is clearly a person who doesn't really make good decisions, doesn't think things through very well, doesn't consider things that we all need to be considering today's day and age, things like optics. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, this lady, she doesn't need to really be around kids. She doesn't need to be around kids and interacting with young people, particularly not in a professional capacity. But my people, brown people, have taken to social media. Like I said, I was scrolling about 2 days ago, and I come across this brother's post, comes across my timeline. He talking about he wants to start a GoFundMe for this woman, Miss Langford. Basically because I don't give a fuck if that girl was 16 years old. Once she called her the N-word, she called her a nigga, and that's it. And and other people are on the post talking about, I don't have no problem with a 16-year-old getting their motherfucking ass whooped by an adult and all of this other shit and whoop-de-whoop. This is the hate that hate made. This is the hate that hate made. Brown man, brown woman, you're slipping. You're slipping, and I don't think that you're seeing it. You're turning into the same thing. The same thing that humiliated and degraded your parents, your forefathers. We have come to the point now where we are patting each other on the back for having the same type of feelings and expressing the same type of hatred and negativity, man. You want to congratulate. This is not two people who are grown adults. This woman is 32 years old. And you let a 16-year-old child play, you know, I'm not a 5%, I'm not a nation of the gods and earth. I'm not a member of the nation of the gods and earths, but I grew up under the tutelage of some of these cats. And there was a little phrase that they, you know, when they was dropping jewels on me, they used to say all of the time, you know what I mean? By holding your square. You know, we use the metaphor all of the time about life being a game. Life is like chess or whatever. And in chess, you gotta hold your square. So this 16-year-old child basically played you out. You let this 16-year-old child play you out of position, and you couldn't hold your square against somebody half your age, half your experience. Well, at least that should be half of your mental capacity. Should be, but apparently it don't look like it. You let a 16-year-old, you let a kid play you out of your position professionally. You're done you are done as any type of teacher, substitute, or whatever. You probably ain't even going to be able to fucking volunteer to help out at schools anymore. You're done professionally. You're going to wind up with some type of a fucking, if you ain't have a record already, you're going to wind up with some type of record about this, because apparently, if convicted, she could face anywhere from 2 to 20 years. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have a fucking record, which is going to fucking have bearing on future employment. I'm not saying it's going to be impossible, but it will have a bearing upon it. I don't get it. And I don't black people, brown people, I don't get how you want to high five this chick for this shit. I don't fucking get it. I don't get how it can outrage you that if the situation was reversed, you'd be completely outraged. And then the same shit that you, for the same thing that happened to somebody else from outside of your culture, that your culture has been grappling with for hundreds of years in this country, you see somebody else go through the same shit, and you like, it's like, oh well, shit, we had to go through it, so fuck it, you gotta go through it too. So you want to see negativity be born. You want more ignorance and shit out here in the cypher. You don't want Tiffany Langford to kind of take a step back and examine self and say, oh shit, I got, damn, yeah, I can't be letting nobody call me nigga, but there's a better way I could have handled this shit. Or I could have came out winning instead of losing on every facet of this issue. Nah, you want to pat the chick on the back, put the battery in her back, and make her feel as though she's done something good, like she's done well. I don't understand it. I see this type of shit. I see this type of shit happen on a multitude of different topics that kind of pertain to racial relations, man. A multitude. I don't see the outrage. I feel like as a brown man in America, descended from brown people here in America, that whenever I see anybody going through some racial bullshit, I feel like, what the fuck, man? Fuck that. Fuck that ignorant shit. Even if you're somebody that I necessarily don't like, I don't want to see you go through no fucking no racial bullshit. I don't want to see anybody get discriminated against because of their color. How would I feel good about that shit, knowing that people like my mother and my uncle was, they took rides down south and shit like that when they were, teenagers, basically going into their young adulthood. They took rides down south to do things like sit in at fucking lunch counters and shit like that, and to support organizations like SNCC and march with Dr. King and shit like that. Why would I feel good about anybody being discriminated against because of their color? Why would I look at that shit and be like, oh well, they the new niggas now? And that's the sentiment. That's what I'm getting. Sometimes it is actually in those fucking words that you read this shit. But even when it's not explicitly in those words, that's the sentiment that's being put out there. Brown people, you got to stop. We have to stop viewing this world through these sick, corrupted, bigoted lenses that these people have put on us. It's gotta stop, man. I had one dude, this one white dude, I was talking to this dude about first of all, the concept of the Matrix and the word Matrix existed long before 1999. Okay, it is a fucking word in the dictionary, and it's been there way before 99 when that movie came out. This shit don't have nothing to do with the fucking movie. When I say motherfuckers is caught up in the Matrix, I'm talking about a reality that has been created for you, that has been programmed into your mind, not through no movie special effects being jacked into some fucking machine, literally you sitting in a chair with a wire coming out the back of your head. That's not the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that have formulated your reality for you. People that have told you that there's no other way to have political discourse or have a political system outside of there being two parties, Democrat and Republican. I'm talking about people telling you that, because you're black, you're a fucking endangered species. First of all, you're not a fucking animal. Okay? You're not a fucking giraffe or a fucking snow leopard. Okay? You're a fucking human being. Okay? You are not an endangered. There's almost 8 billion human beings on this planet. You are not a fucking endangered species. There's roughly damn near about 2 billion of those people. Excuse me, not even roughly. A little over 2 billion of those fucking people happen to be African descendant. So how the fuck are you an endangered species? But again, you let other people create your reality for you and define it for you and tell you what to believe. I see all of you people up and down these town lines talking about systems of control. Oh, religion ain't nothing but a system of control and blah, 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 whoopty woo, whatever. Hey, that's what you want to believe. That's whatever. But if you can see that shit, why you can't see that America is a system of control? Why can't you see that racism is a system of control? Most of the people, the average person has no fucking idea what racism is. That's not by accident, because the people that created this shit have never wanted you to be clear on it. But most of the people that accuse other people of being racist, you have no idea what the fuck racism is. You're accusing people that have no fucking money, have no fucking power of being racist. White folks, people classified as white, who look at people classified as black and try to say, oh, you're racist. How the fuck is his black ass racist? There ain't but a handful compared to the population of this planet. There's a small handful of people who get labeled as black, who have the power, the money, and the connections to be racism, to exercise the different dynamics that it takes for somebody to be racist. You people have no fucking clue what racist is. Plenty of people are bigots. Shit, there's plenty of black people that are bigots, have bigoted opinions about things. Very, very small few number of them can be racist, can qualify as being racist. Brown man. You look at a lot of people that are classified as white and you say, oh, he's racist. She's racist. Wrong. Wrong.